Things in Canada are getting pretty interesting. You have Justin Trudeau, who's going to be doing this cabinet shuffle very, very soon. You have things in Ontario, just all this spending towards fighting crime, which could easily be resolved with federal policies that would keep, criminals behind bars. You have Pierre Poilievre getting into it with some reporters and a few other things, including Jagmeet Singh is back in the news. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. Just a gentle reminder that this is indeed the extra channel, and I would really appreciate it if you guys showed this channel the same love that you do all the others. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So you have the Ontario Premier here is announcing that he's spending $134 million on police helicopters to fight carjackings, auto thefts in the GTA and Ottawa. It's a lot of money.
Message to the Prime Minister, you need to start coming up with mandatory sentencing. You go in, you kick the door in, you put a gun to someone's head, you steal their car, you need to be going to jail for 10 years, 5 years, whatever they determine. And we can't have a weak-kneed approach to this. And I've told them that personally. But folks, we know we have more work to do. Here in Ontario, a car is stolen every 14 minutes. There's nowhere in North America that have those stats. That's simply unacceptable. So today we're delivering on our promise, outlined in this year's budget, to invest $134 million to purchase new helicopters, to help fight auto theft and organized crime in Ottawa and the GTA. As part of this investment in new Joint Air Support Unit, the OPP will acquire 2 new H-135 helicopters to provide support to Ottawa and the Toronto Police Services. In addition, 3 helicopters will be purchased, owned and operated by Durham, Halton, Peel Regional Police Services to support current patrols and improve response times. Friends, this new fleet of helicopters will be a massive boost for community safety. They'll help keep our highways and roadways safe from violent carjacking, auto thefts, street racing, and impaired drivers. They'll allow for faster and safer pursuits of stolen vehicles and help police locate and catch high-risk suspects. This investment is a strong message to all the criminals and thugs out there involved in violent and organized crime. People who steal cars and commit violent crimes, we're coming for you and we'll catch you and we'll put you behind bars. Whether we're investing in new technologies and innovative policing initiatives, fighting guns and gangs, or bringing in new recruits, our government will always be here to support our police services right across the province.
Okay, so it was at this moment that we found out Doug Ford has friends who sell helicopters is a bit of an ongoing joke, but it very well could be true. That's a lot of money to spend on 3 helicopters, and to those that this impacts, the Ontario taxpayers, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And speaking of Ontario, you have this video here about the Ontario housing market that is circulating.
It's one of Ontario's most pressing priorities, building hundreds of thousands of homes every single year. But the construction industry has been in a slump thanks to a perfect storm in this province.
Interest rates come and go. They vary all the time. We've all lived through a number of cycles of interest rates. What is different this time is the stickiness and the cost to build, the cost to renovate housing.
Ontario's housing construction numbers really tell the story. In the first 6 months of this year, the province saw 36,000 new units under construction. That's lower than the 42,000 in 2024, a 14% drop. Worse still, the province saw a 44% drop in housing construction in June compared to June of 2023. But the construction industry believes the situation is about to get much worse. Developers typically sell new homes years before the construction can begin, and those sales figures have also plummeted.
New home sales in June of this year were 50% lower than they were a year ago. Today's sales are tomorrow's housing starts, so we're really going to see a dearth of supply in the market in 2 to 3 years.
Critics argue it's the Ford government's policies and reversals that's been clogging up the construction.
Developers and home builders don't know what kind of environment they're going to be building in, when they're planning 1 year ahead in advance.
But the Premier argues part of the problem rests with the Bank of Canada and high interest rates.
We get the Bank of Canada to knock the interest rate down to about 3%. You'll see them pop up like mushrooms everywhere.
And while interest rates were lowered this week, the building industry believes faster approvals and fewer taxes and fees could spur construction.
We want to build more homes. Right now, we're finding it's impossible to deliver those homes at a cost that folks can afford. We need to change that into a possible equation, and that's the one that we're calling on the government to work with us on.
What's unclear is what the Ford government is actually doing about it. The Minister of Housing wasn't available for an interview. At Queen's Park, Colin DeBello, Global News.
All right. So those in Ontario, I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. It feels like we're going to be in a massive housing slump until there's a bit of a conservative government or conservative values that are implemented here to cut some of the red tape so that developers can get back to doing what they do best, which is mass producing houses. Our immigration currently set at 1.2 million immigrants per year into Canada, which builds like 200,000 houses across the country every year. It doesn't make any sense. That's why people are packing into houses and apartments like sardines. That's why homelessness is on the rise. There's nowhere to put all of the new people or all of the existing people. Very, very bizarre, but I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Now we're taking a look at something that just kind of went over my head very recently in the news. The NDP is at risk. I say that while also smiling because I find it so funny. The provincial NDP in Alberta is not really seeing eye to eye with the federal NDP, which is Jagmeet Singh. So this article is from just a few days ago, but to split or not to split, the Alberta NDP's big question. A split from the federal NDP would likely do more harm than good for the Alberta NDP. But right here on the left is the Alberta NDP leader, and on the right is the federal NDP leader. And in Canada's current political climate, it's largely uncommon for provincial and federal parties to be closely affiliated with each other. But the NDP is an exception to that norm. When members join a provincial NDP party, they also become a member of the federal party. This gives the party a larger and formally connected base that other parties lack. Now, this is kind of a very unfactual statement. It's largely uncommon for provincial and federal parties to be closely affiliated. That's very wrong. See, the Conservative Party of Alberta, Danielle Smith, sees eye to eye on a lot of things with federal conservatives like Pierre Poilievre. And it's only recently that you're seeing provincial parties not agree with their federal parties, which is why on the East Coast, who to be to buy to guys, the liberal parties are at the provincial level are going, we don't agree with Justin Trudeau and the carbon tax, yada, yada, yada. You've seen it. We've talked about it for several months, if not over a year now. And now you're seeing that happen with the NDP, which is absolutely phenomenal. You have yet to see that with the Conservatives, and I don't know if you ever will. I don't know. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe 5-10 years from now, but right now it seems the Conservatives are stronger than ever at the provincial and the federal level. Not one single Conservative, if I'm not mistaken, has abandoned any provincial party or federal party because they all believe in the mission and they all want to get back on track. This country, the provinces, and so on and so forth. Everyone is united. It's the other parties that are in shambles, the other parties that are doing these cabinet shuffles, the other parties that are panicking, that are now not seeing eye to eye, and there's going to be a massive rebranding that happens. The NDP, all parties, just the name of the party is almost irrelevant to what it could be. There was once upon a time that the Liberal Party of Canada was celebrated. It was actually a respected party, and a lot of people, viewers, right, you guys watching, have supported it in the past. Now, if you've never been a Liberal supporter, don't take offense to that, but Canada historically has been a progressive and liberal country. We voted in Liberals. The Liberal Party 10, 15, 20 years ago was not even anywhere close to how radical it is right now. And so you're going to see the pendulum swing left and right as history goes on. So now it's the rebranding. The NDP provincially is going, look, we don't agree with Jagmeet. We don't agree with this craziness. And I think that that's a really good thing. I think that the parties that are failing should go through a rebranding process so we can actually get this country back on track and move away from the radical wokeness. And if that is the goal of provincial NDP parties and provincial Liberal parties, then I think that that's only going to benefit Canada in the long run. And if it's fake messaging, people are going to see through that. You can't just, I don't believe you could successfully over the long run fake your way through a party by just copying what Pierre and the Conservatives are saying under the guise of NDP or Liberals. But correct me if I'm wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this good? Is this bad for the country? But here's what Jagmeet Singh has had to say about the issue.
I had a good chat with Mr. Nenshi, and I congratulated him on his win. And we got to reiterate our goal. We have a united goal. Right now, at the provincial level in Alberta, provincially in a lot of places, Conservatives are a threat to the people. Conservatives are directly attacking healthcare, education. They're even attacking pensions. So in Alberta, New Democrats are united with a very clear goal of defeating Danielle Smith, who is a real threat to Canadians, who's a real threat to Albertans. And nationally, New Democrats are also united. We've got to replace Justin Trudeau, and we've got to defeat Conservatives. But Pierre Poilievre also wants to do the same things as Danielle Smith. He wants to cut healthcare. He wants to take away people's services. He wants to cut and gut the things that you need. It's only going to make life worse. He wants to let corporations have no rules to rip you off even worse. And so it's clear we are united in our goals to take on Conservatives, to bring forward a clear vision for a government that works for people. And the best way we achieve that goal is by being united. And I made that very clear.
Personally, I would love to see a bunch of different parties that all are closely aligned with their values. It would be incredible. I think I don't know why, but it's my belief right now in this current moment. It could change in the near future, but it would be awesome to see if, the Liberals get completely rebranded. Get rid of them all. They all leave. They all resign. You bring in new people that are level-headed and that can actually, try and rebrand the Liberal Party to move away from a woke radicalness and get back on track. And if that were to happen to the NDP, I don't have a problem with the New Democratic Party name or the Liberal Party name. That's not what people have a problem with. It's who's running the show, the people that are there as the face, as the voice, the people representing those parties that they have a problem with, right? So that, I think, is something that needs to be very much addressed. And that's going to take years to come, but it'll be very interesting to see how that changes over the years and if these parties are able to actually get back on track sooner than later. But I again would love to know what you guys think about that. Do you think that the NDP could ever change under a massive rebranding and be somewhat of a contender and actually, win over the confidence of Canadians with level-headed common sense? And same with Liberals. Let me know what you guys think down below. Next up, we have this clip here that's gone a little bit viral on X with 500,000 views on this original clip. Why do you continue to support Justin Trudeau when Canadians want him out? People went up to Jagmeet Singh, and this is getting a little bit of controversy. This is from July 25th, a few days ago. And it comes in light just around the same time that Justin Trudeau was approached on the beach in front of his kid. Now, Justin Trudeau's kid stayed off to the side, and Justin Trudeau walked along the beach with the member, the Keenan Becks, runs the camera signal, and did that interview, which so many people have seen by now. Now, the difference here is Jagmeet is holding his kid. Now, is this something that is crossing a moral line? Do you approach politicians when they are with their children in their off time like this with their kids, or is this acceptable? I'd love to know what you guys think down below, but we're going to take a look at the actual video and see what is being said.
Yeah, I work with Rebel News. I just have a quick question for you.
We don't talk to them.
Really quick question. Do you think all these foreign workers are driving down wages for working class Canadians. Quick question.
Sorry, man. I would chat with you normally, but I don't support Rebel. Sorry, man.
Quick question.
Thank you for your time. We're gonna. Do you want to take a
You
photo?
didn't answer my question last time I saw you, but I'll ask it again, sir.
We'll take it.
Why do you
If
continue to
if you were
support
with Rebel News, man, I would love to chat with you. You're a very charming fellow, but I don't.
Why do you
support Rebel
continue to
News.
support Justin
Sorry, man.
Trudeau?
So if it were somebody else, he would have answered questions, but he doesn't support Rebel News. And so that was it. And he didn't give any time of day other than repeating that. And the rest of the, the other 30 seconds of the video is pretty much the same thing. The reporter circles him and Jagmeet says, I don't support Rebel. I'm not going to answer your questions. You know, if it were any other time and you were with anybody else, then possibly. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is that crossing the line? Is it not crossing the line? Let me know. But if we take a look at some of the comments here, then we'll get a bit more idea of how some people feel. So this person here says, harassing and stalking elected officials when they're on their downtime needs to stop. This little girl was in his arms. This is harassment, not journalism, with 1.8K likes, and the original post had 2.9K. So it's getting pretty close there. Started to despise that person almost as much as the clowns he's keeping in power. Somebody else says he's with his child. You don't have to like the guy, but some common decency when he's got his child in his arms. At least respect her personal space. So there's a bit of a mixed reaction here from people, but again, down in the comments right now, I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Next up, we have a Justin Trudeau announcement. Justin Trudeau has announced the by-elections in Quebec and Manitoba ridings for September. Let's take a look at this.
The Conservatives planned an Axe the Carbon Tax rally here in Elmwood, Transcona, knowing that it might be the day the Prime Minister calls a by-election. Pierre Poilievre joining the local candidate here, Colin Reynolds, who is an electrician and a proud union member. This is historically an NDP seat. The late Bill Blakey was the area's member of parliament for 3 decades. His son Danielle has been the MP here for nearly a decade himself. He resigned after the Manitoba NDP formed government last fall, taking on an advisory role with Premier Wab Kinew. But this hasn't always been an orange seat. When Stephen Harper's Conservatives swept to a majority in 2011, this riding went blue, but only until the 2015 election when it flipped back to the NDP. University of Manitoba political scientist Royce Coop says Conservatives smell an opportunity.
Without a Blakey on the ballot, that hurts the NDP. And the truth is that the Conservatives are so high in the polls right now. And as we saw in 2011, the Conservatives can win this seat.
The other election will be in the Montreal riding of LaSalle, Imard-Verdun, which was new in 2015 and has been Liberal held ever since. It's former Justice Minister David Lamette's seat, who announced earlier this year he was leaving politics after the upset at a by-election last month in Toronto's St. Paul's, which the Liberals lost. All eyes will be on what happens here.
If they lose this seat, recall that after that St. Paul result, it led to just this huge round of rebellion and pontificating about Trudeau's leadership. Was he going to step aside? If they lose this seat, that'll happen again, and it'll be much worse.
Voters in both ridings will select their choice on September 16th. Melissa Ridgen, Global News, Winnipeg.
All right, so there you have it. Some by-elections are resuming. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. It seems like Justin Trudeau is planning on going the full distance until the next election, this next scheduled federal election at the end of 2025. But we're going to have to wait and see if that is something that may might see an election earlier. Not too sure. It would cost a lot of money at this point to run an election that is within the 12-month range of the already scheduled election. But you never know. You never know what the Liberals have up their sleeves. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about any of the topics that were covered. And that's where we're going to end the video. On your way out, I would like to encourage you guys to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.